So this next section, this next article was written by Eric von Hippel, and it's called The Democratization of Innovation. And really, it involves the idea of the phenomenon of user innovation, the idea of lead users producing new products and services for manufacturers or becoming manufacturers themselves. So users are able to innovate for themselves, and this is the whole idea behind democratization of innovation. Obviously, democratization is making something available for everybody, and because of what's happening, these days, this was actually written in 2004, so quite a while ago, but at the time, the internet was really becoming a force, and you could see that there were a lot of resources available, and that's kind of what, really inspired the idea of user innovation. The great thing about it is users can get exactly what they want. So if a manufacturer produces something, and obviously in software and technology, this is easy. You get a base product, and users can take off-the-shelf software and things like that, or open source, and improve upon the product itself. And this happens in a lot of different industries. There's an article, actually I was going to have you read that article. I think it's later on in a later module, but we talk about 3M in here, and there's the video that I included, the von Hippel video, that also includes 3M. They do a lot with lead users that help them to refine their products and help the manufacturer get more out of it, produce more features that more people need. Some of the other things, so the users can benefit from innovations that are also shared by others. So they don't have to think up everything themselves. They can pull things together. So examples of technology that's available to build on top of are things like Linux. So Linux is freely available. It's an open source software technology that users can use as a basis for anything they want to build on top of it. Force.com comes from Salesforce. It is, again, a platform. It's not free, but it's fairly inexpensive, especially if you're going to build an application on top of it. It's very, very reasonably priced for the features that you get. Cloud computing is another thing where you can build additional applications on top of some modules that may be more basic than what you want to do. For example, companies have developed things like financial applications and applications specifically for dealers and things like that that sit on top of Salesforce, which gives them a really nice basis for a lot of different features that are taken care of by someone else, and then they can just charge customers for this additional like financial package or something like that. Azure is another example of it. Azure is the Microsoft platform that you can build on top of. There's a lot of features in that platform that you don't have to build yourself. You can just take advantage of them and just use your expertise to build something new. Lead users develop most new innovations. This is one of the things that von Hippel talks about in the article. The reason for this obviously goes back to a lot of the different articles that we've read about change and innovation, that it really happens from outside of an industry. So where users are not, they're not burdened by bureaucracy, by rules and profit formulas and processes and things like that. They just want, a mountain bike instead of a racing bike. And so they'll just take this and that and, put something new together and get exactly what they want. So, and the idea of this, became, is really big now, obviously, because of all the social networking and all the neat things that people can share and ways of getting product ideas and things like that. There's Pinterest and, all kinds of different ways to get new ideas out into the market and to get ideas from the market. So that the old idea of open innovation is really expanded and really been exploited quite a bit because of these new communication capabilities. So some examples that are in this module. So I gave you a TED Talk about user innovation, where they talk about the beginning of the mountain bike, where one would have thought that it was developed by some bike company, but in fact it wasn't. It was a bunch of lead users who wanted a more durable bike for, going up, on loose terrain and things like that. And they literally put the bike together themselves. And, the bike companies then, took the idea and ran with it. And now the mountain bike apparently is one of the biggest selling bikes, available now. So 3M and lead users, this is the von Hippel video. Users know the job, and remember, we hear back from Christensen that the main idea behind innovation is to understand what the job is all about. What is someone trying to do, and how can we make that easier? Or can they do something different that's better, more profitable, whatever. But the users know the job better than the manufacturers, and they're more fluid. Again, they are not burdened by profit formulas and processes. They just want, a better way of doing something. 3M had a lot of really good examples in the medical field where they work directly with doctors and other types of people that have some expertise that help them understand how to do things better. And obviously a doctor that, a renowned heart surgeon or something like that is going to know better, what the tool needs to do and what it needs to avoid doing. And so they learn a lot from these lead users, and companies that are willing to take that feedback really benefit a great deal from it. Java is very old now, but when Java first came out, Java was a program that really capitalized on the idea of object-oriented computing, which meant you would produce one piece of the code, somebody else would produce one piece of the code, and then we would piece these pieces together and get, an application. This was a very different way of coding that's very, very, very well known now, but at the time it was very strange to people and they didn't understand why you would do this. But this idea of sharing really appealed to younger programmers. There was something that they had learned about. C++, I think, is also object-oriented, and so they were very familiar with it and were more willing to do it. And now, of course, things are all modularized and you're snapping things together, and we've got fourth generation, beyond languages that are really sophisticated and really help to, again, democratize the idea of coding. It used to be that they were pretty cryptic and, you had to have, a lot of special training. And now we know that, coding is something that, with the right tools, a lot more people can do. And so a lot more innovation will be recognized. The internet and getting exactly what you want to innovate. So obviously now you just type whatever you're looking for into Google and you get all kinds of options, and it's very easy to find things now. It used to be, and I think 3M, demonstrated that in the video, that, it took quite a bit of effort to find some of this user innovation and make it available to them. But now it's, it's very easy to find things. So there was a quote by a guy from Sun Microsystems. His name is Bill Joy. And he said, no matter who you are, not all the smart people work for you. And the idea is you have to find a way to get the smartest ideas into your company so that you can grow and that you're not disrupted by this really smart guys that work someplace else. So the idea is to create open platforms and be open to innovation that's outside of your company. And the way to get it in is to be able to just be very open about the way that you accept people, accept ideas, find new ways to get ideas into your company. So getting user innovations to market, there were a few ways to do that. So manufacturers can seek out lead users for large-scale diffusion. So this was like the 3M, we're looking for ideas, and the mountain bike idea, once it was built, a bike company did take it on, and now we've got mountain bikes from, bike companies. And manufacturers can provide toolkits or platforms. So this is something like Salesforce. So one of the things that Salesforce does is they have a really strong developer program. So they provide Force.com as a platform. It's very affordable, and they have a lot of ways to help developers to develop applications for the Force.com, for Salesforce, basically. So the benefit to Salesforce is, if they've got all these neat applications that run on top of their platform, people will buy their platform. And so it's, it's a self-feeding mechanism. So they help the developer, and the developer brings in customers that sit on top of force.com, and the circle goes round and round. So this whole idea of a platform where in some ways you give away, a lot of your technology so that people can add on to it and bring that technology back into your company. Azure for Microsoft, same kind of a thing, where applications are built on top of Azure, and it provides more benefit, more features and functions to the Microsoft platform itself, allowing users to do more with that platform, where you don't have to go out and find a new platform or a new application. You can continue to build on the existing Microsoft platform. So or users can become manufacturers. So you can find an idea and go out and create a market for your own product. So one of the quotes in the article, 3M estimates that lead user ideas generate 146 million versus 18 million in products from traditional ideas. So this is one company, and they do a really great job of user innovation and sharing, and the whole culture of 3M is very open, and so they do a lot with getting new ideas into the company, but obviously a very significant difference, and they have a huge appreciation for what lead users and users can do to improve the innovation capability of their company. And that's it.